Welcome, everybody, back to Let's Read the Homestuck Epilogues. My name is Brodemus, and today we'll be starting on Epilogue 8, Candy 39. Hello, Vord. How are you now? I noticed you were in earlier. Welcome back. We have some nice music by Kevin MacLeod playing in the background today. And we're going to just have a nice, chill time of reading existential crises of our favorite Homestuck characters. I hope you enjoy. Epilogue 8, Candy 39. On the other side of the continent, somewhere along the border between the human and troll kingdoms, Dave and Jade navigate a densely jungled region. Though they're high-ranking members of the Resistance, they aren't decked out in the full military regalia associated with their positions. They're in camo fatigues, Dave sporting a patchwork of bright and dark reds, Jade in black and grays. This is the designated attire for those on scouting and reconnaissance missions, which is the nature of their current expedition. The orders came from... Never mind, that's what I was going for, Pan. The orders came from Commander Vantis himself. The underdeveloped part of the border, mostly uninhabited for many miles, was unspeakably critical to the rebellion, according to the commander. When pressed on, he'd claim the reasons needed to remain classified for now. Dave and Jade suspect the real reason is that Karkat can't bear to put them in harm's way, risking their heroic deaths. But they've decided to do him the professional courtesy of believing his story. The way they see it, he's finally earned a little respect by now. Besides, there's some fun to be had out here, away from the fog of war, just like the good old days, during their archaeological expeditions in search of shitty liberties. They fly side by side just above the thick jungle canopy, sweeping the horizon with sharp eyes.
I think I see another one.
Oh, snap. Dave squints. Sure enough, there does appear to be a large, rusted arm holding a torch, blurred by JPEG artifacts and covered in vines, poking out just above the canopy. It's 2 or 3 miles off to the west. You're right, another shitty liberty. Good eye, Jade. Dave takes a picture with his phone, then updates his report containing a comprehensive accounting of the locations of every ancient Statue of Liberty his alternate timeline adult self once distributed all over this world as some sort of ironic avant-garde goof. He spent a lot of time on Earthsea wondering when adult Dave got around to doing which specific legendary exploits in the pre-flood period of his planet when it was in the old solar system. So much time, in fact, that he turned into an adult Dave himself. Was he the age he is now when he scattered these liberties in one of the boldest, most postmodernist endeavors in human history? The thought is sobering. He can't help but feel how appropriate it is that about 5,000 years later, his work is being curated and appreciated by yet another adult Dave, who better for the task. Jade readies another tactical bundle to be deployed inside their distant liberty. It includes an efficient pack of capture log cards containing tracking technology, military equipment, and powerful explosives. In the event this region's seeded with provisions useful... Wait, I just skipped like 7 lines, hang on. In the event this region becomes another front of the war, the commander wants as many shitty liberties as possible seeded with provisions useful to the rebellion, including the ability to detonate them at any time so that they may serve as traps. Dave wonders if his other self ever imagined they'd be used this way. He's sure adult Dave would have approved, being a fellow freedom fighter himself. It's too perfect, actually, deploying a bunch of shitty liberties as bombs in the service of a kind of liberty that is entirely unshitty. It makes him wonder if his other self, on some level, knew they would be used for this purpose one day. The thought of his double selfless sacrifices against clown tyranny makes him feel so proud, he wipes away a small tear forming at the edge of his eye. Old age has made him emotional. It didn't used to be like this. Gotta keep it together, he thinks. Focus on the mission. Focus, Dave. Oh, is it still distant quest? Thanks, Recursive. Thank you. Let's change it real quick. How are you now, Recursive? Let's see. Game. Oh, it's still Homestuck. Title. Brodemus reads the Homestuck Epilogues Part 10. I just did this. It's still Homestuck related, so I'm leaving that. Thank you, Recursive. Where was I? Then he notices something. Just below him, to the east a bit, a lumpy part of the jungle where the canopy bulges upwards slightly in an uneven, somewhat angular way. It suggests a rigid structure beneath the overgrowth, something man-made. Another liberty, perhaps? No, the structure is different, more compact, more likely a ruined building from an ancient Earth city. It seems to call to him. Yo, Jade. Why don't you go ahead and rig that liberty? I'll be right there. I want to check something out down here first.
What is it?
I don't know, probably nothing. Some ancient bullshit tucked away in the fucking jungle. Doesn't hurt to be thorough.
Okay, Dave, be careful.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too. Jade swoops closer, gives him a kiss, then spins around and flies off to the distant shitty Liberty. Dave watches his wife go, her tail protruding through the rear of her camo pants, swishing back and forth with a sense of unrestrained affection for her husband. He's a lucky man, he tells himself. He knows he is. Before any decades-old doubts can resurface to haunt him, he dives through the canopy in search of the ruins. Those reservations, the tense feelings in his chest, that's all in the past for him. He loves his beautiful doggy wife more than anything in the world, and that's all there is to say on the matter. The ruins are so overgrown with vines and the thick trunks, oh, there's some thick trunks out there, of creeping trees, he can't make out the shape of the building. He can barely see an inch of exposed surface, but something is clearly there. He flies around the perimeter, pushing leaves and branches out of the way. Here's something. An old window, grand in design, but broken, busted in by a huge branch that extends deep inside from years of growth. It's dark inside, hot and musty. He activates a small, military-issue flashlight. Bugs scatter and fly about. He scans the boundaries of the room, shining the light around. There are unrecognizably ancient, moldy paintings and frames hanging on the wall, and yet the wall seems to have no corners. He knows what this room is. He's seen it before in films, under much better repair than this. He's standing in the Oval Office of the White House. Plant life is covering everything, but all the fixtures are there. Moss is consuming the big desk. That flowering mass of thorny vines is where the couches would be. And over there is something he doesn't quite recognize. It doesn't seem to fit in. He steps closer to investigate, wiping away the layers of moss and dirt to reveal a surface he most certainly does recognize. It's a transportalizer. Did Obama really have a Sburb session? Is that the joke we're going for right now? Dave doesn't waste any time. You don't find something like this in the Oval Office and start agonizing over whether or not to use it. He steps on the platform, and in a blink, his surroundings are completely different. The centers of overgrowth are gone, and he appears to be in some sort of crypt, boxed in by walls of smooth golden stone. At the far side of the room, something is hanging on the wall, encased in a sort of display. It's a mounted god-tier costume, about the size of an adult man would wear. He recognizes the symbol. It's the same one Jake used to wear when they were teens. It's the symbol for hope. Oh, I know, Vord. I know there are more sessions than the one we saw. I just can't believe they actually went with... Yeah, Obama totally had a Sburb session. It's fucking hope. I can't fucking believe this. I looked ahead. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do an Obama impersonation. He steps toward the costume, hears a click under his shoes. He looks down and discovers he's standing on a large button, which has just become illuminated under the pressure of his feet. The button bears a strange angular symbol he doesn't recognize, but before he can study it, something directly in front of him draws his attention. Thousands of bright particles swarm from an unseen origin and coalesce into a solid, luminous figure in the shape of a tall man. The radiance of the holographic image diminishes to reveal a man in a suit with a strikingly recognizable face. Dave draws in a sharp breath and clutches at his chest. Okay. I'm gonna have to try. This is gonna be awful. I'm warning y'all right now. This is gonna be awful. Hello, Mr. Strider. I've been waiting a long time for you to show up. Dave's jaw hangs open. The legends have been confirmed, as well as several key headcanons of his. Without thinking, he drops to one knee and bows his head. Mr. President, it's an honor, sir. President Obama laughs amiably and gestures with one hand for Dave to rise. Come on now, Dave. We can't be having that. I'm nobody's king. I'm a democratically elected representative who took an oath to serve his country and his people. People like you, Dave. If anything, I should be the one bowing. Dave says nothing, at a loss for how to respond to such a soft-spoken words of wisdom and humility. He idles for a moment, seemingly waiting for Obama to follow through with his promised act of deference. I'm not gonna bow, man. I was just pulling your leg. Oh. Okay. I just want to talk to you for a little while. Is that alright, or do you have somewhere you need to be? Oh, No, sir. I'm anywhere to be. Anywhere to... Yes, sir. It's more than alright. It's such an honor to... What I mean is... Fuck. Mr. President, what I mean is I'm a huge fan of yours, and I hope this doesn't sound fucked up, but on some level I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. I know, Dave. Obama offers a warm smile. He looks down, adjusting his cuffs like of a holographic suit with the casual manner of a skilled statesman. It's the body language of a man getting down to business. Now, you probably weren't aware of this, but I'm familiar with the work you've done for your country in the past. For the whole planet, actually. Before you moved it, that is. You knew about him? Me?
Oh, yes. Most people thought I was gone, but I was keeping an eye on events. Wouldn't miss it for anything.
Where did you go?
I was doing what you did back then, when the world needed you. I was doing what you're doing now, under the same circumstances. I was answering the call. I went about it in a way no one at the time could understand. You see, Dave, no one can really see the big picture. That's what real leadership is all about. Looking at the big picture, seeing the long road ahead. Making the hard choices for the greatest good. Not just decisions that lead to a better tomorrow, or to make sure the next year is better than the last, or even the next decade. You have to think about the next century, the next millennium. Sometimes you may even have to leave the people wondering if you've forsaken them entirely, because your real duty is to concern yourself with the final destination of the planet, to make sure it stays safe along the hard journey and ends up being the best home it can be for both the human race and the many newcomers to our world. Doing the right thing often means walking along a lonely road, Dave. But I'm guessing you've already figured this out.
I guess so. I hope this isn't offensive. I really hope it isn't. I'm trying my best here. Dave pauses, pensively fiddling with the pockets of his camo pants. He has so many questions for the ex-president. He braces himself and presses ahead. If you don't mind me asking, sir, I thought you died? Well, I mean, I know you did from where I'm from with the meteors and all, but from what I know about the history of the flooded Earth timeline, you served for 2 terms, then just a little after that they say you disappeared, so you didn't die?
Oh, I certainly died, Dave. Just when they say I did. Like I said, I was just answering the call. Other brave heroes like you stepped in to fill the void I left behind, as I knew you all would. And some say the death of those heroes was in vain, or a waste, since the human race was wiped out anyway. Just like they say my supposed death was a waste, a loss that humanity couldn't endure. A loss that humanity couldn't endure. But they were wrong. Those heroes were fighting for something. Even if all you managed to accomplish is leaving behind a legacy to inspire others in the future who need that hope to go on. Even if one of those in the future you end up inspiring is an alternate history version of yourself, Dave. Haven't you been improved by the knowledge of what you grew up with to be in my time? Can you really say that you'd be what you are today without the memory of him, or the memory of me, for that matter?
Dave considers the question seriously. He's transfixed on Obama's kind gaze and can't seem to look away. There are times when he feels relieved by the lifestyle decision he made as a kid to wear a pair of aviator sunglasses at all times, no matter what. No, but that's all good and totally inspiring and all, but sorry if this is nosy, but if you didn't die when you disappeared, then how did you die?
Most of that is classified, Dave. Rest assured, it was a heroic death that took place many years after my disappearance, upon which rested the fate of Paradox Space itself. There were loose ends to tie up, baggage from my distant past. You know how it is. Troubles from your childhood tend to follow you, even after you move into the White House. Believe me.
Yeah, I guess so. What happened to you as a kid? Or is that classified too?
No, it's not classified, because I never even told the government about it. Can't classify what you don't know.
Damn.
When I was a boy living in Hawaii, on my 13th birthday, I was visited by a mysterious stranger. He was an older man with a mustache, kind of a corny, old-fashioned adventuring type. He tried to convince me we were related. Of course, I thought he was full of shit. Obama saying shit. I never thought I'd see the day. To this day, I'm not sure about that. Maybe he was. I don't think much of a tall tale at the time. But what did pique my interest was his story. He was voyaging all over the Pacific looking for a mysterious island, which supposedly had all the answers he'd spent his whole life searching for. During his travels, he set up outposts all over the ocean to help with his search, such as one near where I lived as a boy. The outpost had a laboratory, or an archaeological dig site, a network of underground tunnels, the works. One time, I snuck in there and did some exploration of my own. Somewhere in the maze of underground tunnels, I found a transporter pad, just like the one that brought you here. It sent me to a new realm, a place they called the Medium.
Dave does his best not to show it, but his heart is racing faster with every word Obama says. His mind races too with more thoughts than he can keep track of. Thoughts of affirmation, exhilaration. I knew it. I knew it, his brain repeats to itself. The sense of vindication is indescribable.
Others were there, kids my age. I made friends that lasted a lifetime. Over the years, I would return there now and then when I felt I was needed. I made one final trip there after serving my terms in office. As I said, I kept an eye on Earth events, but I knew I could never return, not with the work that still needed to be done. But before my heroic death, I made sure to have my affairs in order to fulfill certain cosmic necessities of the future, such as our meeting here today, Dave.
Holy shit.
I cataloged a ghost imprint in my brain. You remember how to do that, don't you? I stored my imprint in this holographic projection device. You see, Dave, it was critical that I had a chance to speak with you, but only when the time was right. Only once you had made it all this way, standing ready to defend the future of Earth-C.
Tears are welling up in the corners of Dave's eyes. There go the fucking waterworks again. He says another quiet prayer of gratitude for the shades John gave him. He's got to keep it together. He tells himself there's nothing wrong with crying. Of course there isn't. Just Not in front of Obama. He's got to keep it together. He sniffs in deeply, with a theatrical stoicism, and crosses his arms, but on his exhale, a small, choked sob escapes. He seals his lips tight, but his mouth quivers and puckers under the impossible pressures of restraint. Sorry, I just punched the mic. I apologize. It's getting a little too much for me.
I know what you're going through. There's a lot to be emotional about in these trying times. Hey, why don't we take a walk? You'll have a chance to collect yourself, and there's something I'd like you to see.
Obama waves his hands toward a wall, and a secret compartment opens up with the traditional stone-grinding noises to be heard in any crypt worth exploring. He leads the way into a dark corridor. They walk for some time, only one pair of solid feet making audible footsteps that echo far ahead into the darkness. The light from Obama himself serves as Dave's torch. Soon, he feels calm enough to continue the conversation. Mr. President, you said I reminded you of the adult Dave from your timeline.
That's right.
So, wait, how did you know adult Dave if you were from the original timeline?
Dave, come on now. Surely you must know I'm no stranger to timeline shenanigans myself.
Oh, yeah, of course, what was I thinking? Anyway, no offense, but are you really sure I remind you of him? There are a lot of times where I don't feel like I'm at all living up to that guy's example. A lot of times I feel like I'm just going along with shit. Like my buddy organizes a badass rebellion, and I'm just like, duh, yeah, alright. Sounds cool, guess I'll scout ahead around the jungle and rig a bunch of shitty statues of liberty to split if those are the orders.
Rig the what to do what now?
Oh, yeah, maybe never mind that. It's just a stupid mission I'm on, and to be honest, Karkat probably just sent us out on it so we don't get ourselves killed stupidly. Obama nods solemnly at this clarification. His expression makes it clear that this is the type of executive decision he understands all too well. But compared to that guy, apparently it turned out to be, I don't know, I feel like a lesser version of myself somehow. Not lesser, maybe just like I somehow ended up as the version of me who didn't stay as true to myself as I could have. Like, I entered this world already considered a god, already famous, already celebrated as a genius. What was there left to achieve? I still did a lot of incredible and stupid shit that I guess I'm pretty proud of. I don't know. Something feels hollow about a lot what I've done the last bunch of years, or I guess about a lot of stuff in general. It's not just compliments or stuff like that, it goes deeper, I think. Like, Karkat managed to rise to the occasion to defend his people, but I hardly had anything to do with that. It's mostly him. He turned into someone pretty incredible, really.
You still care a lot about Karkat, don't you?
Well, yeah, of course I do. He's my friend.
Are you sure that's all he is, Dave?
I love my wife. Jade has been the best thing to ever happen to me. The day I decided to marry her and, like, get off the fence, stop insulting her by acting so casual about it, like our thing was no big deal. She deserved me being all the way into it. She deserves everything, and I know this is all true.
But
here come the tears again. More than a drop or two at the corner of his eyes. He blinks and they run down his face, racing beneath the lower rims of his shades faster than he can turn away. He's losing control now. His cool is a distant memory, like a dream he's struggling to remember. Obama puts a flickering hand on his shoulder. Dave feels the dense light of the hologram buzzing through the fabric of his clothes, grazing his skin. It tingles, like mild static electricity. Anime crying. Does the fucking, the Full Metal Alchemist thing. Just, it's a terrible day for rain.
But Dave, it's not raining.
Yes, it is. Eyes up. Single streaks. My bro died a long time ago. Fucking hung himself for some damn reason. For a little while I had a bro. I could talk to him about stuff. I did a little bit. But I don't know if it got that deep into whatever.
You can always talk to me about anything, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, man. I guess I'm trying to say is I miss him. A lot.
I think Dirk would be proud of you if you could see how you turned out. In fact, I know it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I do kind of miss him too. I try not to think about it much because, well, that's a whole thing. What I meant was, I miss Karkat. Dave falls to his knees. He slides his open palms up beneath his shades and covers his face. He weeps quietly as Obama looks down on him, smiling patiently, understandingly, fatherly, almost. I think I messed up. I did do the right thing a long time ago, and now, even though I love Jade, I feel like I'm living a lie. I try not to even think any of this stuff, but now that I'm letting myself not only think it, but say it, I feel like I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. He's hyperventilating now, but catches himself. He has to calm down. This is no way to behave in front of a president. He collects himself, starts breathing steadily, and looks up. Mr. President, can you keep a secret?
Yes, I can, Dave. These days, keeping secrets is practically all I ever do down here.
I think... He runs a hand through his hair and looks back down. I think I'm gay. Obama purses his lips in that trademark way of his. Thoughtful, serious, contemplative. He nods slowly, letting the silence grow, as if considering precisely how to deliver the most perfect arrangement of words any man has uttered in human history.
Over the course of our lives, we all tend to believe there are a lot of different things. We're a lot of different things. One year you're this, another year that. Later in life you start pushing 40, start worrying about worrying you've been believing the wrong thing about yourself the whole time. I've had my share of doubts about all that, just like any other man. And I've had plenty of the same kind of struggles as you, Dave.
Wait. You? Obama nods, smiles wistfully.
Oh, man!
What a twist! Dave arches his eyebrows high above his shades. They stare at each other, and in the look... Hang on, let me see if I can replicate this with my Wolfwood glasses. Let me see, hang on. A look of longing. Doing the dishes and crying. Oh, Pan. Obama nods, smiles wistfully. Dave arches his eyebrows high above his shades. They stare at each other. And in the look they exchange, they seem to say all that needs to be said between two grown men on the matter.
Identity, sexuality, gender. All that stuff is about illusory as I am, standing before you here. Is this the real me? Who can really say? Depends on what real means, or what I even mean when I say me. For that matter, are you even the real you? Haven't you been asking yourself that question one way or another all your life?
Yeah.
Believing is the key to understanding the truth, underlying the words, the truth underlying the ideas they represent, and the truth underlying who we are as individuals. The power of belief, the power of hope, that's what endows that which is intangible, ephemeral, or uncertain with a sense of reality. It brings focus to the insubstantial, the mirages of the mind, the multiplicity of what is possible, of what could be, and isolates it, concentrates it, to turn it into what it is. And the result of that, Dave, is what we call truth.
Dave is still crying, but he doesn't care anymore. The tears are flowing down his face, but he won't look away. He's perfectly unashamed of his vulnerability at this moment. The only thing he knows is he needs to listen carefully to every precious syllable. To listen with his ears, his heart, his entire being.
The truth of oneself can be very specific, if one wills it to be. Statements such as, I am gay, I am straight, I am a man, I am a woman. These are statements about an individual that gain strength through the power of belief we invest in them. But there is another more generalized truth about a person that can emerge when such conviction is absent. When the partitions of the mind dissolve, and the boundaries between everything you are now and everything you might have been begin to fade away.
My impersonation is awful, and I apologize to everyone listening. You're talking about that ultimate self stuff.
I am indeed, Dave.
Wow, I haven't heard about that in so long. Rose used to talk about it all the time. Dirk would rant about it a lot too.
He sure did.
Wait, you mentioned Dirk earlier. Do you, actually know him?
Oh, we've met on a few occasions.
Dave blinks. How's that possible? He killed himself.
Did he now?
Are you saying that's not what happened?
I'm saying you know as well as I that it's awfully hard to pin down exactly what happened to whom, depending on which frame of reference we might be talking about.
Wow. So, he...
I learned a lot from him. Met up with him as a young man, as I was just beginning to explore the wonders of my session. He taught me about many things. Combat, philosophy, life, love.
Love. Hold on, are you saying that...
Now, Dave, I can't go around disclosing everything under the sun. Plenty of this is still under the umbrella of executive privilege. Loose lips sink ships, as they say.
Obama winks again. Oh, fuck, did Obama have a relationship with Dirk fucking Strider? No! He's a man of wisdom. He would never... David actually lost track of how many times he's winked so far. Right. So, somehow he met you and trained you and stuff, and talked about the ultimate self. I remember my Dirk would go off the deep end about that stuff sometimes, and maybe it made him fucking snap because then he just offed himself and that was that. But Rose used to talk about it too, probably even more, but one day she just stopped and never mentioned it again. Do you know what, happened to her?
Yeah, she settled happily into the Pacific. That's her path now. All of you have embraced that life, in this safely sequestered version of planet Earth. All of you until now, Dave. This is why you're here. I believe you're ready to wake up.
Dave realizes suddenly that they've stopped at a dead end of the passage. Obama holds up his arm and points his open palm toward the wall. The wall lifts with the comforting sound of ancient stones grinding against each other. The sliding panel reveals a recess, and in the recess stands a robot. It's a gleaming, polished silver replica of Dave, but without shades. It stands totally still, unpowered. Dave struggles to make sense of what he's looking at.
Now look. A human body, even one that's been elevated to god tier status, cannot withstand the stresses put upon it by the awesome power of the ultimate self. You'd quickly become sick and wither away. We can't have that. So, before I died, I made sure to create this brand new body for you. I have to admit, it's some of my finest work. A real beauty.
Obama's a roboticist.
It should serve you well in your new life. A life where the world will need you more than ever, Dave. Not only this world, but the future of reality. If this sounds confusing, don't worry. You'll understand everything once I help you ascend. So what do you say? At the end of the day, this is a choice that belongs to you. Are you ready to accept your destiny? Dave Strider.
It finally catches up with him. What's taking place here? Dave is sobbing loudly now, beside himself with feelings of joy, a sort of existential relief, and a true sense of purpose. He takes only a moment to decide, not to weigh the merits of decision. He understands now that the decision was already made the second he first laid eyes on the former president. He pauses only to savor this perfect moment. Yes, absolutely. I have never been more ready for anything in my life, Mr. President. Obama nods once, curtly, and his smile dissolves into a serious look as he closes his eyes. He extends his arm and slowly pushes his hands through Dave's forehead. The energy from the dense life form crackles and sends waves through the air like ripples through a pond. It happens suddenly, a shock of white light completely enveloping his and Dave's bodies. Intense bands and lashes of pure hope radiating from their silhouettes. Dave's eyes widen, his mouth opens as if to scream, but he doesn't make a sound. Infinite experience flows through his consciousness, an unimpeded torrent of raw potentiality. He sees everything. The roads not taken, the lives not lived, the thoughts, desires, fears, all unacted upon. The doomed Daves, the Dave sprites, the Dave epidas. Life with Jade, life with Karkat, life with both, life with neither. It's like soaring through the clouds of soup at supersonic speed, too quickly to make up the shapes of any single puffy nimbus, like a breakneck jaunt through Skya. Huge clouds rushing by, small ones, clouds with visions, empty clouds, white clouds, and a great dark one. And then the briefest possible glimpses, most too fleeting to be noticed, of Dirk. And then, nothing. It all stops abruptly, and Dave collapses to the ground, dead. Obama is holding his hand up, and floating just above his palm is Dave's ascended essence. It flickers wildly in his hand like a little kernel sprite. Obama holds it up to his face and blows it away like a dandelion fluff. It floats lazily into the chest of the robot, and with that, Obama disappears, leaving the corridor in total darkness and silence. Seconds pass, and then a minute, and then time seems to stop altogether, as if the aspect itself has suspended its forward motion, bowing before the unprecedented transformation taking place. It defers to its greatest night, risen anew. With a deep, reverberating electric hum, the robot's eyes light up, deep red, bright enough to light up the entire passage. Its face comes to life, its mouth, oddly pliable for a metal surface, begins to smile a little, and then very broadly. The robot steps out of its recess and points its head downward, the searing red beams from the eyes spotlighting Dave's crumpled torso. The robot, Davebot, shakes his head slowly. The doubts, the confusion, the insecurities of the man lying here all died along with his body. Davebot smoothly reaches down, lifts the shades off the corpse, and puts them on his face. It's about fucking time. That was all one motherfucking page. Half an hour of one page. How about that? Fuck, a quarter of this fucking video is that one page. Damn, son. My coffee's awful now. Just BT dubs. That was an experience. It really was. So hang on, guys. Real quick. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna do a quick poll. Hold on. I'm gonna do a quick poll. Here. Hold on. All the dishes in one page. Fuck. Half an hour of Obama and Dave going through an existential crisis. Oh man, fucking Matt's playing Pokemon Snap? Hell yeah, son. Fuck, I want to play Pokemon Snap. It's Pokemon Day, after all. All right, hang on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna manage poll. We're gonna do a poll. New poll. How was my Obama impression? Got it. We'll start a quick little 2-minute poll here. There we go. While you vote, I will continue reading. How long is this page? Oh, it's also another fucking doozy. What the fuck just happened there? What is happening? Hold on. Is everything still good on y'all's end? Okay, something weird's happened, and I don't know how to fix it. Uh-oh. Well, we're sticking with it. Don't know what I did. Don't know how to fix it. Oh, wait, I did this. There we go. Fix it. We're good. Let's get going. Candy 40. From atop the tallest bell tower in the Carapace Kingdom, the sky looks like something painted by a crazy person. The fierce lights of war on the horizon stain the sunset in unnatural hues. Ultraviolet pigments of red and purple slash through the atmosphere in harsh, jagged strokes. The cracks in the sky above are a diseased shade of green, bright bolts receding like lightning in a storm. Dead Jade, host of the cherub's spirit, floats at the apex of the tower. The blitzkrieg above makes a kaleidoscope of color between the black stripes on her tights. Aradia, we're going with Aradia now. I spent the last 2 hours saying Aradia. We're doing Aradia now. Damn it. Aradia glides up to meet her, having left Solix on the balcony. Above, in the sky, a hole has opened up, one so big it fills the entire radius of her vision. Oh, that's very dramatic. The dead cherub says nothing. Aradia flits in front of her face and looks into her eyes. They're the same black as the vortex above, so absolutely dark that they reflect no light. I think I understand what's going on now. Do you? I mean, I think I understand what I was seeing when I watched as everything broke apart. Yeah, that's not what a blitzkrieg is, but you know, fine, we'll go with it. Amazing, hell yeah. That's what I figured. But you know what? Ask the people. When I watched as everything broke apart and got swallowed up by the black hole, which is where I ended up too. That black hole, that's basically you, right? Yes. And when you speak to your brother, that's Lord English. Yes. And he's dead. Not just yet. Oh, then where is he? He's already here. That's his whole fucking thing. I see. Going to keep us in cryptic suspense as usual, are we? That's fine. Yes, it is. I did think it was odd that we ended up in this timeline after all was said and done. Such a strange and unremarkable place to be after witnessing such awesome calamity. There's something. Aradia pinches her thumb and forefinger together. Off about this. Or there's something. Off about this place. Just a little bit. Yes, you would think so. Lesser beings have so much trouble perceiving divinity in the uncanny. Lesser? You have proven yourself a valuable servant and pleasant company. But yes, you are lesser. Okay. Well, it can always be worse, I suppose. You said that we were the lucky ones, if I recall correctly. All in this place are luckier than those who are not, in a certain way. But what way is that? The people who are on this planet seem so... Well, I don't want to be mean, but is that the paradox of living in a utopia? When everything is perfect and your every need is met, is it natural for people to want to start crossing blades at imaginary enemies? I doubt that's what troubles you about this world. Oh? What you've described is a state of empirical ennui resulting from the material circumstances here. But the material circumstances of this world have no objective existential value. This world, unlike the canonical horrors from which it is hermetically insulated, will always fail to meet the combined criteria for truth, relevance, and essentiality that would endow this realm with any real gravity. Its own naturally occurring supply of gravity, rather than the artificial supply I have given it. As such, what transpires here is characterized by its experiential frivolity. Physically, it is cordoned off by the black hole's event horizon. It is safe, untouchable, inescapable. That sounds ominous. It cannot be ominous because it cannot truly be anything with tangible significance. One could describe it as a phantasmal projection confined within my horizon. It was created by a choice that made it possible for that horizon to expand infinitely, to consume infinitely. And since that choice could not coexist with canon events, this place manifested here to support its consequences. If this world were capable of anything other than essential, relevant, or true in some stable combination, then it would perpetrate a corrosive paradox. As such, insulation from what is out there, and the inescapable well it rests in, is what protects all it holds inside. And since I am the embodiment of the black hole in which it rests, I am the one protecting this world. Why? If it's so irrelevant, what's the point? It is simply my duty to defend the innocent from destruction, degradation, and dissolution. But there's more to consider than just my nature. As it happens, this projection within me serves as a stable conceptual foothold from which I can sense and resist another growing threat, which is determined to jeopardize the canonical plane of reality. Ah, yes, the prince. I still have no idea who he is. Not that I doubt you, really. We had a prince who was a huge jerk who destroyed everything he touched. The prince I'm referring to electively removed himself from this reality in order to strategically consolidate his power. Elsewhere, he cannot threaten this world, and yet, by sequestering himself elsewhere, has become infinitely more dangerous. What makes him so dangerous? I mean, what exactly is it that he can do which is more destructive than what I was seeing just before I came here? The cherub makes a rare physical gesture with her hands to begin framing her next statements. Irradian notes this and strives to listen more closely. All right, I need to take a break. I'm getting hungry. My lunch apparently did not stick with me. So let's have a quick chat while I just chow down on this thing. How's everybody doing? Everyone enjoying the charm kill vibes? I know how to speak good. Leave me alone. I can feel it in my stomach. And the coffee not helping. And then it speeds up my metabolism. I'm burning through shit really fast. It's getting cold again. I'm sorry, board. I'm just gonna turn up my thing because it's getting a bit chilly too. It's got time being a host spouse. That's fair, Pam. I need to heat this room. It's weird. There's sometimes rooms like that where it's just like it just doesn't want to stick or anything. I need to do some choring tomorrow. Anyway, how about that Obama bit, huh? Fucking wild was that? Just got wall sander. What kind of chores are you doing over there, Vord? Tried making bread today. Didn't rise because I think. Whoa, that's rough, Mercy. Doesn't yeast last for like 4 years? How is yours out of date? How old is your yeast? That's a weird phrase to ask somebody, actually. It's very relaxing. Good. Glad to hear it, Vord. That was a good choice of music. Good job, past me. Ah, that's fair, Vord. Gotcha. That sounds like kind of fun. I miss doing like handy things. Okay, yep, that tracks, Mercy. Fuck. Oh, I make bread with expired yeast. You know, that sounds like a very dad thing to do, Pan, honestly. It's like, wow, we still got it. Fuck it, we're gonna use it. That's a very dad thing. But yeah, I miss doing like handyman stuff. Or not handyman, but like handy things in general. Like working in a theater is so much fun. It's stressful as fuck. And it can be very irritating. But I miss doing it. It's a lot of fun. Building shit. Getting things ready for the show. It's a good time. I miss doing it. I don't have time to do it anymore. So even if I wanted to do it like for a local theater, I couldn't fucking do it, but get some new, that happens a lot with us also. Like we've had the same cornstarch for like 2 years, but that shit doesn't expire for like 3 years, so yeah, make some pancakes. I was thinking about making pancakes this morning, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna play Magic instead. I got, like I've mentioned before, this is a little little chill and chat in the middle of the epilogues, huh? I started playing Magic again recently on Magic Arena. It was a mistake, because that's like the one game that I will get like so angry and toxic about. Fucking the funniest thing about a difference if it's been opened yet. What, your flower? Oh yeah, no. If it's still sealed, it should be good for a while. Ah, get it with a scoop. Yep, that's a difference there. Gators of water making bread was actually better than regular bread. What? What, Pan? What sort of heathen was like, I'm going to take my Gatorade and I'm going to make bread with it? Because they're clearly from Louisiana. And anyone from Louisiana, I apologize. It was a joke. I kid. Tumblr people? You know what? That doesn't fucking surprise me. After spending years on Tumblr. Millennials. Hey, Mercy. I'm a millennial. We do some weird shit, but I don't know if we put Gatorade in bread. Maybe we would. No, like that tracks. Fuck it. Never mind. I retract my statement. This coffee's so bad, and we don't have any creamer, and it's just it's cold now, and it's awful. Yeah, you make bread with beer. I mean, I've heard about that. I don't really like beer all that much though, so like I would never. But like rum bread's a thing. So, person wondering if they should make why? Oh my gosh! If they should make mac and cheese with chocolate milk instead of regular milk? Oh, oh God, that actually churns my stomach. That's actually awful to think about. And I like putting chocolate on weird shit. I'm one of those fucking freaks who likes putting like chocolate with salty things, like combining the two. I'm the fucking weirdo that tips his fries in his milkshake because it's amazing. Or like you take some chocolate and you just chocolate condiment and put it over your popcorn. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that a lot in high school. But like you have a chocolate bar, some popcorn, pop the popcorn in your mouth, put a chocolate bar, like a little bit of chocolate in there. It's good. It's good shit. Why do you think chocolate-covered popcorn exists, or chocolate-covered pretzels? It's a good combination. So the sugar and salt in Gator is actually really good for feeding the yeast of something weird happening. That's so bizarre. That's so fucking weird. Huh. I mean, cooking is just alchemy. It's just you toss shit together and be like, well, let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, fuck it. Little salt and chalky milk, actually. You know what? That tracks. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. It's same idea. You put salt and sweet together and it's amazing. Especially chocolate and salt. I just want to finish this coffee. And I'll get it out of the way so I don't have to think about it anymore. Gatorade sweetened bread. Doesn't taste like Gatorade. Fucking God. There's nothing that, like, I don't care how much sense it makes, like, chemically speaking, that just sounds fucking weird. Just get some water and put some salt and sugar in it. Done. Don't use Gatorade. Oh, excuse me. This coffee's awful. Oh, God, it's so bad. It's so bad. All right, I'm moving on. I'm gonna keep reading. That's enough. That's enough. Great. That's enough. Is that doesn't sound too bizarre. Granted, I might be thinking of something different, but that doesn't sound too bad. Anyway, moving on. Where's enough time here? Gavin. Enough of this gay banter. Where the fuck was I? The chair makes a rare physical gesture with her hands to begin framing her next statements. Iridian knows this and strives to listen more closely. Physical destruction is one thing. Obliteration of the entire canvas for all of reality over a given cosmic span is another. And yet there are even more insidious forms of destruction and subversion of life to consider. Methods that are difficult to grasp for those on your plane. Yes, I'm quite infuriated, I know. But I'm also very curious. Can you try me? Of course. Let's begin by examining the nature of a story. Okay. It would be easier to do this if we have an example of a story to discuss. Some stories are impossibly long, others can be quite short. Some can even be a few words. What's your favorite story? My favorite? I don't know how to answer that really. Don't you like stories? Of course I do. But do you mean like a book, a movie, anything? Pick literally any example you can think of. Okay, there's a famous religious story from my planet about someone called the Signless. Who I guess turned out to be my friend's ancestor, which was weird, but that's beside the point. Yes, I know of the tale. How would you tell this story if you were trying to be as brief as possible? Well, a religious martyr attempted to lead a rebellion, but he was killed in a horrible way and shouted a very loud, rude word in the process. That's good. Try making it shorter, though. Okay. A martyr tried to rebel, but he was killed horribly and shouted a rude word. Shorter. Wow, a martyr rebelled but died and shouted rudely? Shorter. Oof. Okay, how's this? A martyr died and said fuck. Perfect. What is the point of this? A martyr died and said fuck. To establish an extremely short narrative for certain illustrative purposes, I'm going to repeat your story to you, and I want you to listen carefully. A martyr died and said fuck. Okay, I listened. That's definitely the short story I just said? Yes. Now I'm going to repeat the story, but change the way I said it very slightly. Listen very carefully. A martyr died and said fuck. Yes, that was a little different. I'm not sure that I would describe how though? It was pretty subtle. Yes, you noticed because I told you to pay attention for a difference. For a difference. You noticed because you were alert for the fact that there was even something to notice at all. And if you had not been alert to the fact that something could be different about the nature of the voice telling your story, or to the fact that such differences had a certain significance, you likely would not have noticed. I see. Yes, I think you're right. But now imagine that I told your story in exactly that way. That I said, a martyr died and said fuck. But it was the first time you ever heard the story. Also imagine you couldn't see me and didn't know I existed. And imagine you couldn't even hear the story I just told with your ears. It simply entered your awareness from some other manner, in a way that was impersonal, almost like your own thoughts speaking to you. Okay? Picture that this is all you have ever known of this story. The only way it would ever occur to you that the story could be understood by another. And then, one day, you met me. You look me up and down and regard me as the discrete, specific individual that I am, and decide that I tell you the story again, using my own voice. And it sounds exactly like this. A martyr died and said fuck. Huh. Does this change the way you perceive the story you were originally familiar with? I guess a little bit. It's certainly a different way of hearing it, but at least you didn't change any words, so I guess it's not all that different. Exactly. I didn't change any words, but then it was a very short story I told, wasn't it? Sure was. Now imagine it was much longer, and that was only the first line. That's easy to imagine. His was a long story. Quite true. A story as short as the one we've been using cannot accomplish much when it comes to guiding and manipulating one's awareness and emotions. It is compact, ostensibly commanding a simple and meditative moment of reflection, as a sort of poem might. The narrative it delivers is freighted with inference. It is a pattern imprinted upon the imagination consisting solely of cognitive dark matter, or a sort of notional negative space. But longer stories have the power to draw consciousness into them. They possess arresting and hypnotic qualities which can be used by the tellers to alter the awareness of the listener. Again, I'd like you to imagine this is the only way you've ever known this story. But then it continues. A martyr died and said fuck. His final howl of profanity reverberated through the ages. It inspired his devotees during the darkest times of brutal regime. His lessons were guarded, kept secret, espoused in the shadows of tyranny. A vision of peace would inspire those who'd never conceived of it. And though his death was gruesome, it opened the world to a feeling of hope. This hope echoed through the ages. It gave his disciples the strength to persist as they perished in droves. It was the only light to shine on a dark planet for millions of sweeps. And if you are one so devoted to his teachings, who sees truth in his words, it may be said with great authority that you are wrong. You are foolish to believe his lies. His martyrdom is false, his sacrifice hollow. So repent for your adherence to this illusion now, and perhaps lenience will be your reward. What just happened there? I brought to your attention that the story you were listening to had a speaker with a specific identity. And where there is an identity, there can also be an agenda. I gained the power to bend your consciousness to become more amenable to my narrative agenda by lulling you to a more receptive state through the established rhythm of the story's telling. This was only possible because you were not initially questioning the identity of the teller, or even considering that there was an identity to consider. I guess you're right. Hence, we may view any story as speakerless or unspoken, so as to bring designations to a duality I have just presented. A story may remain speakerless from the beginning until the end, offering no reason for its listener to ever imagine it is of the spoken sort. It can also be spoken from the beginning, which is an upfront announcement to the listener that it carries the perspective of an individual. But a spoken story may also disguise itself as one that is speakerless, as mine just did. The speaker may reveal herself well after speakerless conditions have been established. And then one may ask, was it spoken by that individual all along while remaining masked, or has the speaker suddenly intervened to command a heretofore speakerless tale? Well, in your case, it certainly did seem like you were the one speaking all along, but using different voices. That's true. Not all the situations are like the one I just demonstrated, though. For as long as the hypothetical speaker of a speakerless story remains unmasked, then it is true that the story could be seen as either speakerless or spoken. Both are true as well as neither. Oh, great! It's fucking Schrodinger's story. Great. It is best seen as a null factor, until there is a departure. Once a hidden speaker becomes unmasked, then retroactively the story may be considered spoken all along. And so too do we retroactively change how we regard what has already been spoken. Yeah, I guess with our martyr story, by revealing yourself as the teller, it turned out you were even sympathetic to the very story it seemed you were trying to get me invested in from the beginning. Almost like a mean prank. Yes. And so there is a very dangerous and destructive quality to these nebulous forces which I have gone to some lengths to demonstrate for you here. Not everyone who is affected by these forces is fit to fully grasp their insidious qualities, or the sense of urgency that they must be resisted with. This is the sort of corruption I now must dedicate my existence in this new body to ending once and for all. The cherub falls silent. Aradia takes this to mean this lesson of sorts has ended. She ruminates on it for a while before speaking again. That's all pretty neat, I guess. So, does this stuff have anything to do with this big hole that just opened in the sky? No. Then, what? What are we doing what are we doing here, oh great muse? Aradia starts giggling. Above, the sky yawns open a little wider. Aradia waits, but gets no response. Even now when you're being uncharacteristically forthcoming, you're still impossible to talk to. I understand that, though. I was like that when I was dead, too. Like what? What is that word? Irrepressibly cryptic. I see. So, can I at least take a guess? Yes. He's coming through there, isn't he? Your brother. That is correct. Are we in danger? He will certainly be very angry. But he will also be wounded. Even on his best day, he'll be no match for what I have become. Bring! The cherub drifts higher and higher. There's a glint of color at the center of the abyss, a flash like a star going black in the rim of a dying galaxy. Aradia follows behind the cherub, unable to pull her eyes away from the eerie phenomena overhead. What will you do when he comes? The cherub is focused on something very small falling from above. The bright object flutters down from the broken sky and lands on her host body's outstretched hand. It's a feather, burnt at the edges, flickering orange and green. Consume his body, absorb his essence, and then using his host, I will generate enough power to move beyond the staggering pull of the event horizon encasing this world. A prison of my own making, which can be escaped only through the
Excuse me.
which can be escaped only through the supreme unification of my other half. It is crucial to the cosmos that I succeed. The Prince of Heart has to be stopped.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Ah! Okay, got it. Oh, fuck. Is this the last page? I thought there was one more. I thought there was 42. He pass. All right. Postscript. Elsewhere, beyond the horizon. Oh, this is a short one. I don't know. I thought there was 42. Someone told me there was 42. I might have been lied to. Elsewhere, beyond the horizon, a spaceship tears across a starfield at warp speed. This is page 41 up here, though. Each dot of distant light stretches to become a spear, hurtling in the opposite direction of the craft faster than any photon ever fired from its surface. The ship was brand new when it departed from Earthsea, and it doesn't look a day older now, even though many hundreds of days have passed. It seems to be built to look somewhat like a shark, by a designer who wasn't totally sure how many fins a shark had, nor where exactly to stick them on the beast's body. Inside, a hot iron smooths the fabric of an elaborate garment, releasing a gentle hiss of steam. At a glance, it looks like the top of a god-tier costume, but it clearly isn't standard issue. This one is more stylish, more ornate, more... anime? Sometimes one finds there simply isn't another word that will do to describe some sick gear. The iron eases the wrinkles out of the icon emblazoned on its chest. A hot pink heart, bisected vertically, hollow in one half. A shiny, graceful metal hand puts the iron down, removes a garment from the ironing board, and reaches for the pantaloons. She isn't even sure how he gets these things so wrinkly. Perhaps it's all the time he spends training in the hypergravity chamber. Why, of course there's a hypergravity chamber. Assuming they've got one of these on board. Then again, there are times when he seems so high-strung he could wrinkle a good anime costume sitting perfectly still in an armchair. She drapes the pantaloons over the board, then pauses to reach for the candy bowl nearby. She doesn't actually need to eat anymore. The entire concept of eating has been upended for her.
It's not about sustenance or even necessarily about enjoying certain flavors. It's more about staying connected to a vestigial habit, reminding her of the humanity she's been forced to abandon. Not just any kind of candy would cut it. The sensors on her metal tongue are very particular, weaker than taste buds and arranged differently. These would taste like some combination of battery acid and wasabi to a human tongue. But to her, the flavor is mild, exotic, certainly worth snacking on to pass the time. Human teeth wouldn't stand a chance of cracking these, but hers makes short work of turning the candy into fine gravel. One of her more reckless shipmates chipped a tooth trying one, despite repeated warnings to stay away from the stuff. The iron hits a snag on the pantaloons, putting an awkward crease in the ridiculous billowing fabric. She curses and puts the iron down. She decides laundry day is officially over. The guy can just wear a wrinkly pair of pants today for all she cares. It's not like he has an audience, despite his best efforts to behave as if he did all the time. It's not like he has an audience. Or wait, fuck it, I just read that. She doesn't really enjoy doing laundry or ironing silly anime ensembles, and she considers herself nobody's maid. It's just that there hasn't been much to do on this ship. It's not like the old days of her long-range interstellar travels. That halcyon period riding a meteor across the abyss for years, with an atmosphere of camaraderie, feelings of optimism. A rewardingly transformative period in everyone's young life. She guesses this is just what things feel like on a long journey when you're older, and with a much smaller crew. She turns off the iron, then wanders off down a corridor. It's nothing like the meteor in here, bright, futuristic. Skynet does build a lovely ship, she has to admit. She turns a corner, and her foot kicks something. It's a stray ruby slipper. The other is about 10 feet away, down the hall. No sign of their owner anywhere. She'd sigh, except she doesn't breathe anymore. She doesn't consider herself to be her maid either, but she reaches down to pick up the slippers nonetheless. She enters a room central to the ship, one that she visits now and then, possibly for sentimental reasons, or maybe it's just to creep herself out. Situated near the wall is something that looks like a rather elegantly designed iron lung. It's mostly made of glass with polished silver trim around the sides and base. There's a digital monitor on the wall. She approaches and places her hand on the glass with a faint metal clink. She used to live in this body. She's dressed in the same clothes she was wearing the day she slipped into the coma. A special tiara replaces her typical hairband, lined with blinking transmitters. The device beams her awareness directly into her current mechanical avatar. She presumes it utilizes the same technology that Jade's grandfather once used to build a dream bot for her, which functions similarly. She knows she'll never be able to inhabit the sleeping body again. She honestly can't decide whether that makes her feel sad or relieved. She ponders the future of her old body. Will it all work as planned? She has to believe it will. It's the only path to achieve permanence for these tenuous bodily accommodations. A jarring sound snaps her out of her reverie. It's an alert, beeping urgently from the cockpit. The robot leaves her entombed living body and runs quickly through the winding corridors. She sits down at the helm and examines the monitor. A new planet is within sensor range. She studies the millions of statistics all pouring in at once. Her pupilless eyes take them all in simultaneously, her head needing only to move a quarter inch from side to side to pan her vision across the data. It's an M-class planet, the right size, right age, right distance from the sun. There's no advanced life yet. It's exactly what they've been looking for all these years. Her heart doesn't beat any faster because its pace is regulated by an internal chip. She consciously accelerates it anyway. It's been a long time since she had the occasion to feel exhilarated. She's missed the sensation of the old flesh ticker acting of its own accord. The thoughts of her powerful brain race. What will they name the planet? How long will it take for the ship to arrive? Once the new race has established and advanced enough civilization thousands of years from now, who will the lucky kids be? The ones who get the chance to play what will arguably be the most important session in the entire history of Sburb. She holds her thoughts. They can wait, and there's much to discuss. She taps a button and lowers her head a little closer to a mic on the panel. Dirk? She supplies a courteous pause as if waiting for him to reply. He usually doesn't. You're going to want to see this. Enough time goes by that she begins to wonder if he's asleep. But no, it's just the irritated silence of a man who knows he's currently dressed well enough to attend something so important. Are my fucking pantaloons ready yet? And that is the epilogues, everybody. We're done. That's it. The epilogues are done. We did it. It's over. Woo! Hang on, wait. Ford, you reminded me. We have something here. Hold on, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold on. I had it. Where is it? Maybe it's in downloads. Where is it? Where did I put it? Where did I put the stupid thing? I had something for this. I had something for this. Hang on. It's over! Thank you. We're done. All right, let's move over to the full cam. All right, well, let's do the YouTube outro for this. Thanks everyone on YouTube for watching through the epilogues. We'll pick up Homestuck 2 to the second sometime soon. I don't know about next week, but sometime soon-ish. But yeah, that's the epilogues, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the whole thing. If you stuck around for the whole thing, if you liked it, make sure you click the like button down below and subscribe to keep up with my stuff. New videos every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. They are my stream VODs. There is a link down in the description below. They are that goes to my Twitch channel. Consider following if you like, please, so you can see what I'm streaming, when I'm streaming, the schedule, what I'm planning out, and everything like that. But yeah, just give me a follow if you like. Comment, what was your favorite part about the whole epilogue? Did you like meat or candy more? Let me know which one you like more in the comments. And share with your friends. People who wanted to get into Homestuck or didn't read through the epilogues, have them join me on this journey. While I'm not a huge fan of the epilogues, I will say they are not as bad as people make them out to be. I had this thought a while back, like probably last week. I may have been too harsh in my initial feelings on the epilogues themselves. They are not too bad. I understand something. I do not like them, personally. However, I will say there is a difference between not liking something and it being objectively bad. I do not like them, personally. I enjoyed candy a lot more than meat, but I did not like them. There are parts that I enjoyed. There are parts that I really, really liked. But as a whole, I can't say I really like them all that much. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying they are poorly written. They are, in fact, very well written. They're just not for me. But they are well written. Anyway, that's it for YouTube intro. Again, everyone on YouTube, thank you for watching. Please stay safe, stay healthy. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, YouTube!